stop it right there. Do you ever find yourself in a conversation or debate, and you know exactly what you're talking about, yet you feel confused and way less knowledgeable than your opponent? Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you. It's very likely that the other side is using faulty reasoning, otherwise known as logical fallacies. If that's the case, just end the conversation right then and there. Before you learn some common conversational red flags, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on the bright side. Number 1. The slippery slope. People start using this one as teens before they even learn the word fallacy. How many times do you think kids say something like this to their parents? "If you don't buy me the latest smartphone, everyone will think I'm lame. I have no friends, and I'll end up living at your house with no job till the day I die." The slippery slope fallacy takes off at a harmless starting point, and then just snowballs to a highly improbable and logically disconnected conclusion. Indeed, the connection between something petty, like not having the latest tech, to something dire, like a jobless future, is really superficial. But an emotional person can easily believe it. Number 2. Attacking someone. No, I'm not talking fistfights or anything. Here it's about questioning the expertise or qualifications of another person, disapproving of their looks or values, bringing up some problem in their personal life, or simply reminding them of their junior position. These are all forms of attack in a debate or conversation. For example, when you suggest an idea, you might hear something like, "And who are you to make such statements? Who put you in charge?" All these phrases are a way to distract you from expressing your point of view, because you'll naturally feel the need to defend yourself and prove that you do have every right to make statements like that. Number 3. Appealing to pity. Now, appealing to pity means playing on the other person's compassion. Fair enough, we all need a helping hand from time to time. But for some people, it becomes a habit to expect others to do something for them. "I'm still grieving the death of my goldfish. Can you cover my part of this project too?" Who'd say no to a grieving person? Unfortunately, some people use others' empathy to get what they want. It's emotional manipulation at its finest, and you should be aware of that before you agree to do something for someone you feel bad for, especially if it's always the same person. Didn't your goldfish die 3 times already? Number 4. Appealing to tradition. It's understandable if representatives of an older generation want to keep things the way they've always been. However, when, say, your coworker backs up their argument against trying a new approach because the old one has worked perfectly fine for the past 20 years, then you should call them out on this. More often than not, when something becomes established, people stop questioning it. They'll defend it no matter what, without even thinking that there might be better alternatives. 5. Appealing to novelty. This fallacy is the exact opposite of the previous one. Just think about how many people get all worked up each time a new iPhone comes out. How many of them do you think even know what's really so new and revolutionary about it? So, when your conversation partner says something like, "But that's the new approach that everyone's trying, so we should too," don't fall for it unless they can prove themselves right with real evidence. Number 6. The circular argument. This fallacy is exactly what it sounds like. A person's argument and reasoning are totally circular. For example, this book is the most reliable source of knowledge on the topic because this book says it's the most reliable one. Going in circles around the argument doesn't make it any more truthful. So, if your conversation partner is trying to convince you their way of doing things is right because they believe their way of doing things is right, stop it right there. Number 7. The undistributed middle. If all of A is B, and all of C is B, then C must be A. Sounds too much like some math class problem, right? Let's look at it in an all-too-common example. Someone says, "All lazy people are always late to work. You were late to work today, therefore you're a lazy person." You see, life isn't purely mathematical, although some would disagree, and there are exceptions to every rule. So, categorizing things and people based on one statement or fact of life isn't right. If you're the person being put into a labeled box, and that doesn't exactly make you happy, you know what to do. End that conversation. Number 8. The Bandwagon Fallacy. The fact that something is popular or generally liked doesn't automatically make it true or good. It's quite normal for marketing companies to use this trick when making ads. Saying that 95% of women love our shampoo, so you will too. If anyone ever criticizes you because, for instance, you don't like some show that's the highest rated and most watched in the world, just remember that you're an individual. Do what you like, and don't worry about what other people say or think about it. 9. Red herring. Isn't that a new band? Actually, a red herring in a conversation is a distraction from the real argument. Imagine you and your friend are discussing some new movie. You love it, and you explain to her why you were so impressed with the plot, acting, special effects, and whatnot. Deep down, she didn't really like it. But instead of giving her points why, she says, "Nice weather we're having, right?" That sudden change of topic to get out of rebutting your arguments or making her own is a red herring. She should just say she wasn't into it and explain why. It's okay to disagree with someone. We're all different, and we all have our own tastes. Number 10. Social conformance. Peer pressure is a powerful tool against common sense and logic. If you want everyone to laugh at you, keep on promoting this idea. Humans are social beings that subconsciously need acceptance and the support of others. So, it's no wonder the social conformance fallacy is among the most popular. No one wants to look silly or be rejected by others. If you hear something like that, don't let it get to you. Just be yourself and not some sheep. 11. Repetition. We aren't doing so well. We're in a crisis. The company is failing. Repeating one and the same thing makes it sound more valid, and you're likely to believe it just because you heard it several times. In fact, no matter how many times you repeat an idea, it doesn't become true unless it has real evidence to support it. If you're hearing the same thing from your conversation partner over and over, consider this a sign that they really don't have any backing to their claim. Number 12. The Straw Man Fallacy. Just like farmers set up a straw man to protect their crops from birds that'll believe there's an actual human out there, some people set up verbal straw men to shield themselves in a discussion. Not to reply to your actual argument, they create their own version of it and address it instead. And of course, the argument they create makes your own idea sound so much worse. You could tell them something like, "I think you should be more attentive at work," and hear, "So you're saying I'm useless and can't do anything right?" Nope, that's not what you said. 13. The False Dilemma Fallacy. This one is somewhat similar to the Straw Man Fallacy. Some people make up fake dilemmas out of an issue that could be supported by both sides, thus giving you no choice but to support their idea. When you hear something like, "You can either sign this petition or let the new evil boss take over the company," you're more likely to just agree and sign whatever you're offered. Number 14. The Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy. You ever heard the story about a Texan who first fired his gun at a barn and then walked up to it and drew the target around the spot with the most bullet holes? Just like that guy, some people pick data to support a conclusion they've already made and want you to agree with. For example, they'll reassure you that Miss Jones is the best teacher because 15 of her students graduated with honors. What happened to the other 85 kids remains a mystery. 15. Generalization and Stereotyping. This fallacy is easily the most common of them all. We use words like all, always, and every in conversation without really thinking about their meaning. A good example of this is saying something like, "That lady just cut me off in traffic." Well, all women are terrible drivers, you know. First of all, you can't speak for all women in the world. Not to mention, plenty of men are bad drivers too. Ah, come on, really? And finally, even if it's popular to make wisecracks about women drivers, no group of people should be the butt of your bad joke. So, do you know someone who often uses fallacies? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and click subscribe to stay on